Donnie and Dolly. The team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
All right, all of our guests today on this Monday, brought to you by our friends. I'm just looking at this one submission. The ladies, okay, Tara.
Oh, there's a ton.
It's a beauty. All of our guests today, including Iain MacIntyre, standing by, sponsored by Basant Motors. Basant is sharing the love all month long. Head to BasantMotors.com and download a coupon for your choice of a Dine Out gift card or hockey tickets with your next vehicle purchase. Get all the info at Basant Motors, BASNT Motors.com. Elvis, I don't know if this is real. Elvis in Princeton, texting into the Delaney's OK Tire and Langley inbox. You guys suck.
Elvis?
And that's, I don't know, kind of summing up the our inbox today and the reaction to our poll question. Iain MacIntyre joins us now in the wake of the Canucks' overtime victory Saturday against the Boston Bruins. Iain MacIntyre from Sportsnet, sportsnet.ca. How are you, sir?
Good. I needed a smile on Monday morning, and that text made me smile. Now, when you say you don't know if that's real, I can assure you, the text is real.
I don't know about the name, but the text is real.
Who knows? The text is real. The content, of course, is not. You guys do not suck. You're fine. You're excellent at your job. Look at how you do it week after week, year after year. At an age when many of us have been retired against our wishes, we're all still going.
Well, Rick and I have been retired multiple times, and we're still here. So
pink slips.
That says something. Hey, Iain, what do you think's in Elias Pettersson's future?
A lot of money from somebody. It's hard to say how this is going to go. And that in itself, I guess, is a statement because, before the season last year, nobody thought that they were going to be in this situation. But until Elias speaks and says what it is he wants to do, I'm not convinced that his future is not still in Vancouver. And Patrick Allvin made it clear when I spoke with him. I did an interview in January, halfway through the season. He made it clear they're fine waiting for now. And he has reiterated numerous times, Patrick has, that because Elias isn't eligible for UFA status until the end of next season, they're not that concerned right now. But what the Canucks need to know, and they'd like to know now, but they need to know, sometime between the end of the season and the start of free agency, is what it is Elias would like to do. I don't see them going into the summer risking possibly a one-year deal that walks them to free agency. So they just want to know what it is he would like to do. I don't think they need to know this week. I'd be awfully surprised if Elias Pettersson is traded before the deadline. In fact, I'd be absolutely stunned. I don't think that's happening. But they need to know. They don't need to know right now, but they do need to know.
I know you wrote about this, Iain, how significant, how important was that win on Saturday, especially the way it unfolded.
Yeah, I just think, Donnie, it checked so many boxes for this team. And of course, anytime the Canucks play Boston, it's a big game. Anytime they beat them, which is rare, it feels like a bigger game. And just as a side note, half of the Canucks are American players, but they're all keenly aware of what that game means in this market. And I think the atmosphere on Saturday in the bowl and in their dressing room reflected how big the game was. They had to win. And when you've lost 4 in a row, they'd have taken a sloppy win over San Jose in that case to avoid losing 5 in a row. But the fact that it was Boston, the fact that Boston was still at the top of the standings on points, the fact that the Canucks had to come from 2 goals down, the fact that they won it on a power play goal. And I think the biggest thing, and a couple of players, including Tyler Myers, noted this post-game. I think JT Miller referred to it as well. It was a game that reinforced their belief system because the Canucks did not alter their game at all when they were 2 goals down from when it was 0-0. They were playing the same way, and for the first time in a long time, played a full game of their style of hockey, which is fast, direct, hard to play against, and especially from the hash marks down. This was the best the Canucks have looked in weeks. And Miller had told me a few days ago, that's the bread and butter of their game. That's when this team is at its best, when it's working other teams from the hash marks down, whether they have the puck or not. Better to have the puck. But even if they don't have the puck, that they're making it so difficult, as they did against Boston, to get out of their own zone, turning pucks back on the sideboards, making it hard on the defenseman behind the net. I think that was Canucks hockey as they envision it when it's at its best, and it is pretty good when it's at its best.
Ian, the Archdeep Bains story unfolded last week.
Yeah.
Just him getting to the NHL the way he did. It was a long journey. It certainly wasn't a first-round pick, making it a few years later. A lot of adversity for him. What are your thoughts on his play so far in Vancouver?
Well, I think he looks composed. He doesn't look in over his head, which some guys do look
Yes.
that way when they first get their chance. Now, the thing is, it's only been 3 games, and as you guys know, how there's a coaching bump. Sometimes there's a call-up bump. You have that energy, especially when you haven't had the chance to play in the NHL before, and you have so much adrenaline and energy, and things go your way. The key is sustaining it. But what I like the most about Bains is just his composure and how smart he looks. And I had a chance to speak to Ryan Johnson at length about it, the Abbotsford GM. Of course, he runs player development for the Canucks. And I love talking to Ryan when a guy gets a chance at the NHL level, because he is so proud of them. These are like his kids. But he said, the journey for Archdeep from the start 2 years ago when he came out of the WHL as a high-scoring, offensive, kind of one-dimensional guy to where he is now is remarkable, and that they basically deconstructed his game and built it over again. The Canucks knew that he had this high hockey IQ and natural offensive ability and instincts. It was everything else that they wanted to build, and they wanted stronger. And so they rebuilt his game basically from the defensive zone out. And Ryan Johnson told me, and I didn't know this, I'm sure people in Abbotsford season ticket holders knew it, but Bains actually began killing penalties before he played on the power play.
Yes.
And that was twofold. It was partly because they recognized how smart he was, and that's a huge component of being a good penalty killer, along with other physical attributes. But you have to be able to read the game, understand the game, make quick decisions that are the correct decisions. But they also wanted to establish, well, here's a foundation for you. Here's the kind of thing that will get you to the next level, not just the points, not just being on the power play. And I talked to Archdeep in Seattle when we were there last week, and he so embraces what the Canucks have done with him and the changes in his own game. And he's also such a humble kid. He is a great story, and it's tough for somebody who has to play for more than himself. And Archdeep realizes, coming from the South Asian community, and he's a Lower Mainland kid, that there's a lot of people watching him and a lot of people looking up to him. And it's hard enough to establish a foothold in the NHL when you're just trying to be a player, but to be a player with that extra responsibility, I think is too much for some guys. But he seems perfectly comfortable with that. Understands that he's playing, to some extent for more than himself. I don't think he can think that way during games, or he'd be lost. But certainly he understands he's going to be in the spotlight. He's going to be at the center of attention, and I think that's partly what drives him as well. It's been a very good start for him.
Yeah, Ian, the trade deadline is less than 2 weeks away. Canucks still poking around some big names like Jake Gensel. But again, what do you cough up? What's the cost of the acquisition? What do you see them doing at the deadline?
Well, yeah, the cost would be high for Jake Gensel or another guy like that. And the thing about Vancouver, for a long time, let's say Connor Garland would have been available. For a long time, Nils Höglander would have been available. And it's not like those guys are now untradeable, but they've been so good for Vancouver. They've got key roles for this team. And the whole idea when they go out, and I think Vancouver will go get somebody. I'm not sure it'll be Guentzel. I hope it is, but depending on the price. But the whole idea of going out and adding somebody is to be better. And right now, if you subtracted Nils Höglander from your lineup, that in itself doesn't make you better. There's a cost to that. And we've seen how Connor Garland, I'm just using those two guys as examples, as guys who might have been available in a trade. And I think now it would be a lot harder for the Canucks to trade them.
Yeah.
So what do they have to spend? Well, they have, younger guys in their system. The trade they made for Lindholm, they gave up a B+ prospect in Brestowicz, whose name I know I didn't pronounce correctly. But they kept, they kept Wielander, they kept EP2. They still have some good young prospects. I don't think anyone's excited, and I know Patrick Allvin's not excited about the idea of having to trade another of those guys. But maybe to get a deal done in the end, that's what they have to look at. It would be a big cost, though.
Can we blame you for the poll question?
Yeah, I think we should.
Would you mind that?
I think we should.
What? Why me? Why me?
No, you're here. What the heck? Yeah.
So people just don't like the poll question in principle because
it's negative.
Guys,
it's negative.
You're stirring the pot.
Yeah, a bit. I mean, it's an ongoing story, as you know. But a lot of people are saying it's in the wake of the, a big regular season win against a team a lot of people in Canuck Nation hate. So we should be focusing on.
Be positive, Ian. Be positive.
Well, why don't you guys just blame Henderson?
We always do.
No, don't worry. People have.
People have.
Yeah.
That's our crutch.
Yeah.
That's our crutch.
It was a team effort.
That's the default position, right? The producer got it wrong. Sorry, Ryan.
Yeah.
Blame the young guy.
Yeah.
Right?
Veteran move.
It's a rite of passage. Ian, thanks for this. We'll get you back on soon.
All right. If they do trade him, I think it's more Pettersson's fault than the team's.
Yeah.
Okay, wow. There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
For that.
There you go.
Thanks, Ian. Appreciate it.